How are you guys doing?
We're good, thank you.
First of all, thank you so much for coming in, and congrats for being part of Comic-Con this year. I'm so curious, and I think, what do you think fans would be surprised to learn about what it's like behind the scenes of making this series?
Well, I think it's making an animation cartoon is such a group effort. I think everybody's surprised the amount of people that it takes to make a cartoon. We have like so many departments, and our job as supervisor producers, we kind of like oversee like every aspect of production. But it really does take a village. So I think the fans will be surprised, to like see the amount of people that it takes to like come up with one 22-minute episode.
Yeah, I also think it's just how dedicated DC fans are on the production, because there's so many people on all parts of the process who love these comic books, love the movies, love the show, who chime in and be like, oh, well, Superman shouldn't do that because of this, or Batman once did this, and that really helps you flesh out how deep Harley Quinn's universe goes, just for people who can pull on that wealth of knowledge.
Well, one of the things that the show does is it like flips the script on like expectations. Like you don't think certain things are going to happen, yet they do. So I'm curious, do you have a lot of, I want to find the right words, is there a lot of resistance above when you're trying to do things, or do you have a lot of creative freedom to just sort of like throw it to the wind and say, we're going to do this?
Well, I think we always start from the point, this is a story we want to tell, and this is how far we want to push it, And we put it that way, and then obviously sometimes we have to make compromises, sometimes we take it a little far.
I like how you say a little. Go on. I'm just joking around.
Yes, but I mean, in general, I think, for example, DC, they love the show over there, and they know that the show has been very successful from season 1. And I think they understand that, the show is successful because the humor, lies in putting these characters that everybody knows and love in this very, very, strange circumstances, in these like places where they usually don't go. Of course, there's limits, sometimes DC is more precious with some characters than others, like, for example, Batman, or Superman, like with those characters, you have to be a little bit more careful. But again, we always try to push for the laugh and the comedy, and it's a back and forth. If we go too far, and they said, you can't do that, we'll take it back a little bit.
Sure. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch to something else, which is, I know that season 4 is, the trailer just dropped, and you're here for season 4, but I also know how long it takes to do animation. So just have to ask, are you working on season 5 at all? Or are you waiting for this to come out to see what they're going to say?
Yeah, I think we've just been focused on finishing up this season and making sure it's as strong as it can be, so that we can get another season, because we really want the fans to love what we do here. So I think the main focus has just been, let's finish this, let's get it out and make it as strong as possible, so that this resonates with everybody at home who watches it.
So obviously, what can you tease about these upcoming episodes that are literally about to drop?
Well, I think the fans are going to be excited to see like all the new locations that we take them this season. We kind of expand out of Gotham, and we have an episode in Vegas, where Clayface has his new show, so he's in total diva mode. We also go to the moon. I'm sure the poster kind of tipped that a little bit, but Lex has a giant villain convention in the moon. So that's a reason for the rocket. And we're also going to go to Italy with Bane to follow the saga of the pasta maker.
A+.
Yeah.
So when you are developing these ideas and fleshing out what you want to do during the season, do you end up coming up with, like, how do those ideas get refined in terms of, because I'm sure you come up with 100 things, and then it's ultimately, well, what can we do, or what do we want to do?
We really try to give, once after you get through the script phase with the EPs and the showrunner, you really don't want to pull your punches. So I think all of the rest of the process is like, how do we make this bigger? How do we make this the biggest and coolest possible version of this script? And luckily our production and the studio have been wonderful about not having us try to water anything down. So, I mean, most of it is making things larger, like making the robot fight the craziest robot fight that you've ever seen, or making the high-speed chase as dynamic as possible. We really don't try to pull back at all, because our show, rests on being as awesome as it could possibly be.
Totally. I don't actually know if season 4 is the same length as the other seasons. so my question is, how many episodes is season 4, and do you have a favorite, and why?
We have 10 episodes for season 4, and we're gonna see. I think my favorite episodes is the episode where Ivy and Harley go to the future. We've seen the clip inside the panel where they steal the time machine, and so we're gonna see them like go to another time space.
I would say same. I love that. I'm
great episode.
I am a huge, general future Terminator guy. I love anything to do with the future, and it is a hilarious Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy episode.
Outside of Harley and Ivy, do you have a favorite DC ship? You know, like you know what I mean, with the fans, the way they ship characters together.
Well, my favorite Disney show has always been Batman the Animated Series, and I know this is an old one, but it's always been my favorite.
I would say that my favorite is just anything to deal with the New Gods and Darkseid and Apocalypse.
Sure. One of the things is you guys did this great problematic Valentine's Day special. Is there any talk of doing more stuff like that, or extended episodes, or you know what I mean?
Well, at this time, not that I'm aware of. I would love to do it. The Valentine's Day special was a very fun, and it was like kind of like almost like a movie, like a very like self-contained movie, and it was kind of like a different format than a regular episode, so you get a little bit more time, to expand on the story and the characters. So the question, I guess the answer is no. I haven't really heard of anything, and I don't think anything is in the works yet. But I would love to do it.
Well, one of the things about the show is, I'm curious, when you want to do, are there any new characters that are introduced in season 4 that we have not seen before?
Yeah, plenty. We have a lot of new characters coming this season. One of the main ones is Talia al Ghul, which everyone knows about Talia, and she's going to come to Gotham as this very powerful business woman, and she's going to become kind of like a role model for Ivy, who aspires to become a good CEO of the Legion of Doom. And we have a lot of new villains as well. We have Snowflame. Snowflame is a DC character who gets his superpowers from snoring cocaine. This is a real character. I didn't make him up. And a lot of other fun ones. I mean, we have Weasel, we have Bounce Boy, and Dollman in one of the fights inside the Vegas episode. We have Steppenwolf appearing in the convention, in the evil convention in the moon. And then besides that, we're going to see how like some of our existing characters kind of take new roles this season.
Sure. One of the things about the show is there's so many people that talk about it online, and I'm just curious, how much are you looking at what people are saying, and how much does that actually get incorporated into what you guys are doing in the writer's room? Because I'll give you, to put myself in this, on YouTube, I'm either the best interviewer or the absolute worst. So there is a way that I try to moderate through the comments to find things that are meaningful. But I'm just curious if you do the same.
I think a lot of times when you read the fans' reaction, it's overwhelmingly supportive. So when you pass, trolls or whatever, chiming in, I think a lot of times it's sort of like, I don't think the show was ever for you type of deal. But I would say usually when you're reading them, they're so supportive. And I think it does help, it's the positive stuff that helps move the show, because you see what people are loving. And then the next season, the writers and the showrunners and everyone else try to give them the things that they say that they want. I think that because the show is run by so many people who are DC fans, and just fans of Harley Quinn in general, they really want to give the fans what they want because they're fans too. So I think it's the positive reactions that move the show and move the dial of what we can do further.
Is there something that you guys have put in the series that you still are surprised you got away with?
Yeah, lots of things. I mean, the violence on our show is so extreme. There's so much gore. It's like so out there. Sometimes I feel it's like, man, this is too much. But oddly enough, we never really have been censored that much on the violence. We get censored sometimes on the nudity and the sex. And we try to be like tasteful. Like we don't have really like frontal nudity, but we don't really get a lot of censorship. So I think we ultimately get away with a lot.
And then sometimes the executives surprise you, where they have given notes on sex stuff in the past. And then for season 4, there's a sex surrogacy sequence. And their note was, more sex stuff, make this more outrageous. Like, they really wanted us to swing for the fences of how crazy we can get. So I think, if anything, you're positively surprised at how much they know the fans wanted to go to that place. And they're like, no, this should be like, whoa, crazy.
Well, one of the things, and I have to ask, like, the popularity, different show, but the popularity of The Boys, which really pushes boundaries, you wonder if that has like a bleed over effect where executives are maybe watching that and saying, well, we can do that too, and Harley Quinn is the show to do it.
Definitely, and I think it helps, you feel like audiences are almost desensitized, to like a lot of the violence and the, all the blood and, guts exploded and people being ripped in half, because they've seen it so much at this point, that you feel that it's, helping it make it a little bit more acceptable, like across platforms.
Sure. One of the things, what are some of the things you can tease about Harley this season that she's doing that I think fans will be excited for?
Well, I think the exciting part about Harley this season is that she's learning how to become a hero. We saw her at the end of season 3, being part of or starting to be part of the Bat family. And the fun thing with Harley is that she's really bad at it at the beginning. She's not good at following rules. She falls on her face all the time. It's like she breaks the rules, and the Bat family is not happy about it. So she really needs to like find a way, to navigate this new role. And something that she doesn't feel comfortable with because she's never done it before.
Oh, yeah, and I think something the fans are going to love is Harley gets his outfit changed. She's part of the Bat family, so she gets her own Bat outfit. Being at Comic-Con, I think it looks great. It's super cool and fun when she gets it, so I'm hoping that in a year or two we'll be seeing Bat Harleys running around.
Yeah, I do enjoy actually Comic-Con, and I've seen so much cosplay of Harley. I mean, it's great, but one of the things about animation is a lot of things can change when you're making it, and it can be refined, but I don't actually know what it's like for you guys. Like, can you be pretty far along and all of a sudden realize, wait, maybe this isn't working the way we need it to, we need to redo this, and can you do that? Like, how is it in the behind the scenes?
Well, because there's so many people involved in this process, you always get like curveballs, sometimes. I mean, we start with, in pre-production, we, start with the script and then we do boards, and then when the boards are finalized, like we ship it to the studio overseas to get animated. But, before we ship, there's always like last minute changes, like maybe, the execs at WB feels like, this bit, the writing is like not quite working, or this action scene doesn't quite work. We need the characters to be more involved, and sometimes that comes late in the process.
Sure.
So but it's like everything. Like you try to do the best with the material that you have. And you make adjustments as you go.
Yeah, and I think the largest thing that you end up changing is just the amazing work that all the voice talent brings to it, because they do so much improv. Sometimes, like if you cut an episode short, and but JB Smoove is coming in, he can just come up with all sorts of hilarious things as Frank the Plant, and you can try to accommodate that as best as you can. Or really, all the characters just really sometimes they knock it out of the park, and you're like, okay, now there's an extra 12 seconds of hilarious Poison Ivy that we have to accommodate for inside of the episode. And no matter where you are in the process, if the actors have come in and done something like truly hilarious, you'll shift things around to make sure you keep that performance in the show.
Totally. We're at Comic-Con, and I've been asking everyone, what do you geek out over? Like, if you go on the convention floor, what are you shopping for?
I don't know. I love figurines. I saw the Dragon Ball stuff out in the in the shoreline, and I was really excited about it. So I love, the little statues and the figurines.
Sure.
I think, we actually have overflow in our house right now. We have too much comic books, too many figurines, too many statues. But I love sales. I'm always in the market for a great animation sell or new comic books. I collect New Gods. She told me not to collect comic books, so this might be news for her too. I collect New Gods comic books, and I've been looking for some keys around here. I think that's my big thing with comics.
The good news about this year is because there's less Hollywood studios on the convention floor, there's more dealers and more indie dealers. It was really nice, in case you get time to walk around. On that note, I really, really sincerely want to say thank you for your work on Harley Quinn, and I really hope this season's a big hit for you guys.
Thank you so much.